Premier Ford has promised to add beer and wine to corner stores, and a report today found a very strong business case for it. The Retail Council of Canada found it would add just over 9,000 new jobs and would result in a net gain of more than 2,000 jobs even if the beer store were forced out of business. The report also found it would add $3.5 billion annually to Ontario's economy. But the beer store pushing back against this. In a statement to me, it says, quote, the Retail Council report is wishful drinking. What's missing, it says, is 3 points. First, overall beer sales have dropped since they were introduced to grocery stores in 2015. Virtually no new jobs, it says, have been created. And 3, beer store employs 7,000 Ontarians across the province whose jobs will be lost by needless, additional, and costly expansion. There's just one potentially very expensive problem with putting beer and wine in corner stores, and that's the 10-year agreement the province signed with the beer store a couple of years ago. Remember, the beer store is owned by private brewers. That deal prevents alcohol in corner stores unless the province pays potentially huge penalties. How much are we going to be on the hook for? I wanted to ask Ford's so-called booze czar, Ken Hughes. There's been reports it could cost $1 billion to break. Is that a reasonable number? Could we be looking at $1 billion here?
I call that the bogus billion. That is not. That is irresponsible to be throwing out numbers like that. It is unnecessarily causing stress for the employees of the beer store.
But will the taxpayers be on hook for even $1 to break this agreement?
I can't answer that question specifically because we're obviously we're having conversations with pretty well everybody in the whole industry.
In a statement to me last week, the beer store confirms it's in negotiations, but it too not divulging any details. What can you say to people watching saying, I don't want any of my tax dollars to go to break this deal? Sure, I'd like beer in my corner store, but I don't want to pay for it that way.
Well, we have many tools in our toolbox to accomplish the public policy goals. I'm not going to get into the specifics, so you can ask the questions, but I'm not going to answer.
Do you think they can negotiate a way out of this contract with the beer store in a way that doesn't leave the taxpayers on the hook for a lot of money?
So, I think that would be very hard to do given that there's inside that contract some provisions already for damages. And they're going to find themselves in a position where it's going to cost them money. And the question is that money that you're going to spend? Are you spending that in the most valuable way for the public good?
So when exactly should we expect to pick up a bottle of wine or a can of beer in our corner store? What is the timeline? We saw an email from the Premier the other day saying, soon, it's happening soon. When is it happening, sir?
Well, it's not the next 2 weeks, but it's not 3 years. We can't be specific about the time frame.
Will it just be the big brewers that will get their products into corner stores, or will there be room as well for small Ontario craft brewers? Ken Hughes told me it's still too early to say. Still a lot of unanswered questions here. Richard Southern, City News.